Hello, in this video we're going to be talking about the leaf of a plant, so let's not waste any of your time. Let's get right to it. Now, when we're talking about leaves, the first thing we want to think about is the term venation. And you can see it kind of below the text, the word parallel on the screen there. But venation is the style of veins, for lack of a better word, that a plant or a leaf might have. You can see the first example is closest to me here is parallel. They're obviously take into effect the shape of the leaf, but they're lines that are lying beside each other. You've got your net or your web-like type venation, or your dichotomous, which are found on the fanning type leaves. And you might be thinking, well, why aren't those just considered parallel? The difference would be they don't take the shape. There's not the shape of the leaf doesn't affect the look, and they're more for the fan style. Now, when we're thinking the names of things on the leaf or areas on a leaf, you've obviously starting to what would be the very tip top, no pun intended there. You've got your tip of the leaf, and you've got that vein that runs down the middle that everything branches off of. That's the midrib. You've got the lamina, which is the flat surface of a leaf. And of course, you got the vein, and the edges of leaves are called margin. And of course, you got the petiole, the stem of the leaf itself. Now, there's a bunch on this slide, and this may be one of our most information packed slide we've had, but starting with the text below me, these words we've already dealt with, but we will go over them again, and they are associated with the picture, the diagram in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, the internal leaf structure. You can see that waxy cuticle kind of rolled back there, so you can see it, but a lot of leaves have that, and that's all about water control, trying to slow down that water loss. It's also a protection if insects can't chew through that, or it's a struggle. Maybe they just go somewhere else and find something else to eat, and that may have a bitter taste to some animals to try to discourage them from eating on that. That's the cuticle. And then you've got that dermal layer, the epidermis, as we've mentioned, is that outer layer. And the underneath side, where the stomata are, would also be part of the epidermis or the dermal layer. We'll talk about those on the next slide, but they are all about the gas exchange, that are especially the ones that are associated with photosynthesis and cellular respiration. They bringing the carbon dioxide in. Water can escape through those when they're open, and oxygen can be released out as well. But we mentioned that big mesophyll section, that's the ground tissue section, and that's the portion that has the photosynthetic cells in it. In the upper right hand corner, the leaf arrangement on a stem, you got your three types of leaves. And if you know anything about trees, you've seen all of these. But you got your simple leaf, which is simply when you've got your stem, or if it's a tree, where a branch comes out, you get that node, and the stem comes right off of the node. So a simple leaf just has the one stem involved, straight from the tree or the plant, and the leaf on the end of it. A compound leaf, like you can see with some trees, you've got the node, and a stem grows off of that, but then there's a second stem that has the leaf on it. So it's almost like a simple leaf on an additional stem. And of course the doubles, now there's going to be 3 stems involved. There's going to be the node and the stem that grows off of that. And then that stem is going to have a node that develops another stem. And then the leaves come off of that second stem. So it's like a simple leaf on a stem on a stem. That's your double compound leaf. Okay, we've mentioned the stomata a couple of times, but this is the official slide discussion about them. You can see the diagram beside me. The A picture, the one closest to me, that's obviously is closed. Okay, when stomatas kind of have a negative pathway for processing, to where if they are full of water, okay, then they're full, then they kind of cover up the opening. But as they dry out a little bit and they reduce in size, okay, then the water can try to come in. Of course, the other gases can come in as well. But you can see kind of the breakdown. You got your nucleus, and you can see your chloroplast in there, and then the vacuole, the big central water vacuole. Then those guard cells are the green areas, and then you got your cell wall on the very outside. But it's all about gas exchange. And I mentioned this in the previous video, but when these are open, it kind of creates that vacuum in association with the roots and those parts to generate that force needed to uptake the water from the roots and the root hairs and things like that. But stomatas are found on the bottom of leaves, and they're there, as I previously mentioned, trying to avoid as much heat as possible. I mean, if it's a tree out, and like today, you know, it's close to 90, it's not going to be able to avoid water loss due to evaporation or transpiration, but it's going to try to reduce it, either by being closed or by just being underneath where it's at least a little bit cooler, not in a direct sunlight. Well, that's our video over a leaf of a plant. When we come back together next time, we're going to be talking about roots of a plant. We'll see you then.